Today we're talking Alien Earth episode 6 as the specimens, hybrids, and corporations plans begin to unravel. But many characters seem to have hidden agendas, so whose is going to end up working? Welcome to The Real Spot. I'm Bobby Foster, and after analyzing this episode, I found 9 important questions that'll allow us to fully appreciate and understand this episode. Today we're doing more than just pointing out Easter eggs. We'll be deep diving into the most important questions that this episode asks of us, so let's explore them. Unfortunately, it seems like Isaac is indeed a hybrid that will not live forever. Or will he? We saw Isaac meet his demise by the fly, which seems to consume technology. And this is a unique twist to the Alien franchise where now there's a specimen that hunts out synthetic bodies. That's interesting. But the question is, what's going to happen to Isaac now? The truth is, right now, we don't know what happens when a hybrid dies. Is their consciousness uploaded somewhere in the cloud? Could Isaac be resurrected into a new synthetic body? There's a lot of questions around Isaac, but there's one thing for sure. That fly messed him up. But I want to bring up a deeper topic here. Let's say Isaac is dead and he is backed up on the cloud somewhere. This means that Prodigy essentially took disabled children and turn them into something that could be a slave forever. Even if they end up dying, there is no rest for this consciousness. And that's horrifying. We knew already that these hybrids were supposed to live forever, and yeah, they were going to be Prodigy's products forever. I guess the only hope in that is like maybe they could decommission themselves. But that wouldn't be the case if their consciousness is uploaded in the cloud and can just be put into another synthetic body. We'll have to see how that plays out. And not only that, Ocellus seems to be eyeing him for some particular reason. Pun intended. Looks like it's trying to see if it could utilize Isaac in some way. We're unsure right now if Ocellus can attach itself to a hybrid. It did try to attach to Nibs though, but I did notice that Isaac is now missing one eye. Coincidence? We'll see. But that brings me to my next question. With all of the observing Ocellus has done the last few episodes, did it finally find a way out? Ocellus simply sits there and observes everything that's going on, having a careful, watchful eye over everything. And it's really cool to have a silent alien tactician character archetype. It's menacing yet intriguing, and in the Alien universe, that's a great thing. But when it comes to how it's going to get out, I've noticed that Ocellus has a pattern. And not only that, it's a similar pattern to what Mara was suggesting to Yutani that they do to Prodigy as well.
What do you recommend?
We destabilize the facility and exfil in the chaos.
It's essentially the same thing Ocellus did on the Maginot. It knew that causing chaos would raise its chances of being able to escape. I think that's why it knocked on the glass to knock Isaac over, because it knew that would have a domino effect. It knows that humans make mistakes when there's chaos happening, but I don't think it's banking on pure chaos to get out. I think it has a master plan. Something tells me that it knows exactly how to get out, and we're going to find out what that is next week, so that in the finale, we'll be able to see what comes of it escaping. But let's see if any of y'all would be able to guess how Ocellus gets out. Leave your theories below. But if you enjoy talking about Alien Earth but don't have anybody else to talk about it with, go ahead and join the Real Spot Discord. We talk about Alien Earth and other shows we love in there, and we would love to have you join the conversation. And while we're on the topic of escaping, let's talk about Hermit. Hermit's trying to leave the island, but the big question is, will Hermit leave without Wendy? Because I don't think Wendy is going to leave willingly. Although I'm not 100% sure because of what she says to Dame towards the end of the episode. But we're going to talk about that later. However, because of that, she may want to escape too. Arthur made it so that the trackers on all the hybrids are off so that Hermit can take her off of the island. But there's an important theme this episode about choice. Wendy talks to Dame about not giving Nibs a choice.
I told him this was a yes place. You didn't give her a choice, did you?
And the thing is Hermit going to give Wendy a choice? Or will he just be like any other human and try to control her as well? I know Hermit's going to do everything he possibly can to get her off the island, but what if she just doesn't want to go? Will he save himself, or will he try to sacrifice himself to save her? I don't think Hermit's going to make the same mistake twice. He's shown a lot of regret for not being there for Marcy when she died, and I don't think he's going to do that again. And since Wendy's close to the Xenomorph, does that mean we're going to see Hermit face off against the Xenomorph again? And this time, will he be the one that kills it? And will that turn Wendy against him? Lots of questions when it comes to Hermit and what's going to happen in the next 2 episodes. I'm really excited about his plot line. But talking about Wendy and the Xenomorph, Wendy's been spending a lot of time communicating with it, but we don't know what she's been saying to it. So what has she been saying to the Xenomorph? It's being presented to us like she's just practicing the language. But is that true? Is that it? The way she looks at the Xenomorph and communicates with it, it's like she's studying it, but also planning something with it. One of the episodes in this show is called Observation, and it's just been a constant theme this whole entire season. Wendy herself brings it up in this episode about how everything's just being researched here.
They're experiments, Tim.
This is a research facility filled with scientists. That's what we do.
But she doesn't realize that she's also a part of that when it comes to the Xenomorph. And is it because of that observation and communication that Wendy somehow thinks the Xenomorph is good? Why does she think that? Is it her intuition? Do hybrids have intuition? Can it understand the Xenomorph and knows what it wants and their goals align? Because for the Xenomorph to be good, it needs to align with her in some type of capacity. Hermit says the Xenomorph is bad because it attacked them, and Wendy says, not this one. I think this is foreshadowing for the Xenomorph we're gonna see from the chest burster that's gonna come from Arthur, where maybe this Xenomorph that Wendy's talking to, maybe it is good, maybe Wendy can control it, but that other Xenomorph, that one's gonna be a problem. But like I said at the beginning of this video, everybody has a hidden agenda. Maybe the good Xenomorph does too. Maybe it's getting close to Wendy on purpose just to turn on her later. I don't know if the Xenomorph has that type of intelligence. Who knows? But it would be cool to see a good Xenomorph versus a bad Xenomorph and have them fighting each other. That would be a good scene. But the most satisfying use of the Xenomorph, if Wendy does somehow control it, would be to somehow take out Prodigy with it. So that's what I hope Wendy communicates with the Xenomorph, is to take down Prodigy. And honestly, I'm not even sure who's on Prodigy's side anymore. But yeah, who are the Prodigy allies at this point? It seems like even Kirsh is preying on Prodigy's downfall. Because why didn't Kirsh tell Kavalier that something was going down at the lab? My theory is that Kirsh's loyalties lie with the hybrids. I had a theory a few episodes ago that Kirsh was recruiting the hybrids, essentially, trying to earn all of their trust. I think that's why he didn't tell Kavalier about what was going on. Because now he can go up to Slightly and be like, look, I saw what you did, but I'm not going to turn you in. And that'll gain Slightly's trust. But that'll be an interesting situation to put Slightly in, because he's being blackmailed by Morrow, but then also he has Kirsh on this side manipulating him in a way too. So who will Slightly follow? But if Kirsh is trying to overthrow Prodigy, and Morrow is the enemy of Prodigy, and it looks like even Wendy might be an enemy of Prodigy, and yet all of them are against Prodigy for a different reason, how is that going to end up working out? Will they team up, or are they going to get in each other's way? We know where some of the characters' loyalties lie, but not others. And one of those characters is Nibs, because when she realizes what the scientists did to her, what is she going to do? Also, Dame said that the process could have messed up her identity, so we have no idea how Nibs is going to react and how she's going to behave. But something really interesting about this process was Dame saying that hybrids have trauma. I don't understand that. Is the trauma real? Is it code? Is it simulated? I hope we find out more about the human side of hybrids soon, because it's all a little bit confusing. They have no brain. They have no biology or chemistry happening inside of their bodies. So if they're just simulated humans, how can they have actual trauma? Also, Dame said with therapy and enough time, she could have fixed Nibs without that procedure. So that means they must have programmed the hybrids in a way to change and evolve in a similar fashion to humans. And now that I think about it, in a way, hybrids are like cyborgs, where cyborgs are humans with a little bit of machine. Hybrids are machines with a little bit of human. I just wonder what that human aspect truly is though. And whatever that human side is, Wendy doesn't want it anymore. She tells Dame that Kirsh essentially told her about the benefits of not being a human. And Wendy's now seeing that as the way to go, as she's starting to see all these problems that humanity has. But what does Wendy want to be if not human? Does she really want to be a machine? This conversation was also brought up between Kirsh and Morrow in this episode, where Kirsh was hinting at the fact that it seems like Morrow actually wants to be full machine.
I would imagine it's the pain that makes it satisfying, especially for cyborgs. That moment when you realize you're not a machine after all.
And they were both kind of questioning, when is a machine not a machine, like Morrow had brought up earlier. But to be honest, that scene between Wendy and Dame, just an extremely powerful scene. Because what Dame was doing is exactly what society tries to do to us. They try to make it sound like we're the problem. They try to make it seem like if only we were different, there would be no more problems. But what happens most of the time is it's not about us. It's the forces from all these external things that are causing us so much pain. But then they try to gaslight us and tell us we're the issue. They take away all of our healthcare services and then blame us for being sick. They keep our wages incredibly low, then blame us for being poor. They grind us to the bone to the point where we can only do the bare minimum, then blame us for being lazy. They lie to us. They gaslight us. And they're clearly doing that to Wendy. Because when Hermit meets up with Arthur finally tells him the truth. He tells Hermit to get Wendy off the island, that she isn't safe. But why isn't Wendy safe? What are they planning to do with these hybrids? The only extra information we got this episode is that they need the hybrids ready for some presentation in a few days.
And when the information architects of the Five talk to her over canapes and cocktails, I want her to be calm and charming.
But we still don't know their real purpose. Are they going to be sold as a solution to immortality? Are they going to be sold to people as a way to keep their loved ones from dying? Does it have to do with power? Are they going to turn them into super soldiers? Are they going to turn them into surveillance bots? All of the above. All I know is Kirsh's plan for the hybrids seems to be way different than Prodigy's plans for the hybrids. Kirsh seems to see the hybrids as these things that have unlimited potential that could just change everything.
Your sister has potential to invent faster than light travel and explore the stars for thousands of years. And you want her to be a family?
And if Kavalier does see it that way, I don't feel like that's what he's been showing. To him, it seems more just like this fun experiment for his ego. And maybe that's why the hybrids aren't safe, simply just because Prodigy and Kavalier just don't care about them. Because Hermit opened up the conversation with Arthur saying, hey, like, it looks like you actually care about them. So maybe Arthur is just saying like, yeah, she's not safe just because anything could really happen to her because they just don't care. But there's a plot twist to all this. The truth is, the hybrids aren't in danger. The humans are. They're on Nevermore surrounded by hybrids and specimens. What makes them feel so safe? Everything is about to turn on them and they have no idea. And they may not care about the hybrids, but do they care about the specimens? We see that money means absolutely nothing to Yutani and Prodigy when it comes to the specimens. But why does Yutani or Prodigy want the specimens? I think there's something specific they're trying to research with them. Something they're already slightly aware of. But what I don't get is even though there's only 5 corporations that rule the whole entire world, I don't think they want these creatures for control or for power. It doesn't seem like that. The writers are doing a great job of keeping their motivations hidden. But we only have a couple episodes left, so I'm expecting to get that answer rather soon. And honestly, I'm hoping it's not something as cliche as these corporations are evil and they just want power. Like it's so cliche. Alien Earth has been a highly philosophical show, and I'm hoping the reason they want these specimens falls in line with that. Something where as an audience, we have to grapple if we agree with the corporations or not. I don't want them to be painted out as simply evil. That wouldn't go well with how this show is working. Like, could you imagine if somehow by the end of this season, they have us rooting for the corporations in one way or another? Like maybe by the finale, we want the corporations to keep control of the specimens somehow? That would be magical writing. Alien Earth is full of things that are morally gray. So I feel like they should finish the season that way where we don't really know who we're rooting for. It'd be cool if by the end the audience was split where some people were rooting for the big bad corporations and other people were rooting for the rebellion hybrids. That's how I hope it ends anyway. And those 9 important questions wrap up our exploration of the episode. But let's go through them one more time. What's going to happen to Isaac now? Did T. Ocellus find a way out? Would Hermit leave without Wendy? What's Wendy saying to the Xenomorph? Why didn't Kirsh tell Kavalier something was wrong? What's Nibs going to do? What does Wendy want to be if not human? Why isn't Wendy safe? Why does Prodigy or Yutani want these specimens? Discussing these questions and theories has been so much fun, but now it's your turn. What questions and theories do you have? Leave them below. But if you want to discuss them more, drop them in the Real Spot Discord so we can all talk about it together. Until next week's episode, I'll see y'all.